and welcome to the Kidding Podcast. This one's all jokes. We're joking around the whole time.
No kidding.
No, we are kidding.
Yes, kidding.
Yes Kidding Podcast. First
Yes
ever
Kidding
episode.
Podcast.
Episode 1 of the Yes Kidding Podcast. Welcome.
Welcome.
I'm Liza Minnelli.
I'm Michael D'Angelo.
And we're here to talk to you about our Lord and Savior. So, guess what?
Inspire. Preach it. What? Preach it.
So, you got a shock mount, right? For your microphone.
No.
Finally. No?
No, I didn't. You didn't. You were just listing off all the things I needed to get. And that was the one thing you just wanted to...
Well, we talked about it last time.
You set me up for that. You set me up.
No, I'd never set you up for stuff like that. Come on.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I did not. But then again, I don't know how I can implement that into my current system. So you're just going to have to put up with whatever life throws at you from this podcast.
Oh, okay.
And,
well,
deal
we'll
with
survive.
It for now.
Well, I'll survive. It doesn't matter to me. It's the audience that suffers.
Well,
I don't care about you, audience.
You need to spread our podcast out to the world so that we get more listeners, and then we can get more sponsors, and then I can actually afford.
Is this an ultimatum?
Okay.
Are you holding the audio quality ransom?
Yes, I'm holding the audio quality ransom until
this
you
seems
share
counterproductive.
Us to the world. Or rate and review. And put a horrible... Remember, we talked about this. You got to put a horrible review for us.
So we learn our lesson.
Yeah, so that we can improve. And that's the only way to grow.
Any press is good press, as they say.
It's to bully people. You have to bully people so they will change their ways and become better.
So you're encouraging everyone to bully us.
Just bully us and...
Bully!
Yeah, and we'll bully you right back. That's what we're here for.
Oh, that's abusive.
No, I'm kidding. We love you, so don't take that the wrong way. Don't bully people. It's wrong.
Lisa.
What?
Everyone was right, but everyone is wrong right now.
Interesting. That makes no sense to me.
So everyone was so stoked about CyberPunk 2077.
Oh.
We've talked about this.
Yes. The drama of CyberPunk. Yeah.
And it came out.
Yeah.
And everyone was so disappointed.
Yeah, this is serious stuff. Let's talk.
But they were so right the first time. It's amazing.
What do you mean?
When they were hyped about it.
Oh, okay.
It is so good. I have been playing it nonstop. It is too much fun. It shouldn't be allowed. What a fantastic
cyberpunk
game.
Vortex at the moment. I pulled you out of your vortex, basically.
I know. Yeah. I'm coming up for air, but it's worth it for you guys. See, I care about you, audience.
He's not the better one.
It is unfortunate that it does. It seems that a lot of the issues, because I'm using GeForce now, so it's like pretty decent hardware.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of the people suffering right now, it's happening on lower end hardware. It seems to be that at least they're not getting the beautiful visual fidelity that's maybe making me forgive some of its bugginess. But it is a buggy game. I will give it that. But I've been playing Bethesda games for years, so I mean, this is like a piece of cake.
Okay.
Skyrim and Fallout, they're full of bugs. This is
so the only way to beat it is to get the spray.
Yeah, or reload your save 9 times because the game keeps glitching.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Most of the time, it's great. And it works great, and it looks great. And I'm sorry for those running on like first-gen consoles, but I will say that
it's for an elite club, so the rest of you can just butt out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, CyberPunk is pretty accessible if you use GeForce Now, which is $15 a month. So, it's a additional cost to be sure, but I would recommend the service. It's really good, especially if you're not a person that has access to like high-end hardware. It is just a cheap, easy way to get that high-end hardware, and it's accessible on your phone and stuff. Like,
so don't give up. You can do it.
It's awesome.
No excuses. Isn't GeForce wasn't that a
game streaming?
Like a game show, like not a show, but like a channel.
Wasn't there
GeForce or G4 on TV? There was like a channel called that, and it was all about gaming.
Unrelated.
Oh, okay. It's like, did they
other than
some
gaming
kind of streaming film? Okay, so what happened with your friend?
I will say that my friend is also loving it right now, and he has been playing it on a PlayStation 4 Slim, which is pretty ancient piece of tech, but he says it works pretty well. Seems he's enjoying it, so good.
Okay.
I guess, it's possible to to enjoy it on older hardware, but you might have to forgive a little bit of the graphical elements.
Oh yeah, lower quality, but
yeah.
So what is so great about it? What do you love?
Oh my gosh, the story is excellent. I'm a big fan of like cyberpunk stuff, so I love you have like the corporate stronghold that's oligarchic umbrella is taking over America, and all the people just 100 floors down, like fighting to get food on their table that night, and it's all mixed in with the like dystopic, futuristic neon cityscape. It's awesome.
Okay, so it's kind of like an apocalyptic world, but in the future.
Not apocalyptic, but like somewhat dystopian. I don't know. It's kind of like cyberpunk is as a genre. I have to differentiate a lot now because it's like if a show were named horror, and it's like I'm trying to talk about horror in general, but it is a horror, but it's called horror. Anyways.
Okay.
Cyberpunk as a genre is definitely something that focuses on like the like double-edged sword, I would say, of technology, where obviously it advances humanity in a lot of ways, but it also has a lot of trappings and stuff, like obviously like learning about like nuclear technology gave us like a lot of understanding about science and potentially creates unlimited like free energy for humanity, but at the same time like the governments can now end the world if they wanted to, right?
Okay.
So there's always like this kind of double-edged sword when it comes to technology, and I really like that cyberpunk as a genre like explores that. It says like, what if you could like get an implant in your legs that would allow you to like jump over a building? Oh man, that's so cool. But like, what if everybody was expected to have that and was having to pay like these massive corporations that are the only ones that produce them, and then they get all the power and everyone's pretty much their slave? It's
so
crazy.
Who is the cyberpunk?
Huh?
Who is the cyberpunk?
Everyone, I guess.
Oh, there's not one punk. It's all like a group of punks.
It's just like like I said, like it's really like a genre, I guess. So it's kind of like it focuses a lot on like subversive culture and like kind of like counterculture sort of ideas, because like it generally focuses on usually like the protagonists and stuff are like people from the streets that aren't like born into the what they call like the corpo world, that like the rich and powerful, and so you kind of have to like scrounge and make do and make questionable ethical decisions to survive in the futuristic cities of America.
Classic. Okay, so you're trying to survive. That's the goal.
Yeah. I mean, you can select a variety of different starting stories. So it's a very like it's a game that allows you to like really customize your character and kind of have you can pick from like 3 different backstories. So you could be somebody who was like born in the like rich important world, or you could be like a street kid that was just like raised in the alleys of Night City, which is like a very futuristic city in California, and then you could also be like a nomad that's out was raised outside the city, but also similarly is kind of like had to scrounge to survive, but is from like the less populated deserted plains of America.
Okay, so are there so there's classes, but like are there people in this universe who aren't having to survive, like, or is everybody having to survive?
Oh yeah, the rich and famous. Like there are people that are well off that have bought into that, as they say, the corpo lifestyle. So they work for corporations or are executives for corporations and stuff, and because of like it kind of explores like the idea of America becoming like an oligarchy and like being run by corporations and being basically
so they're just kind of controlling everything.
Yeah, just kind of like if you could imagine like Google and Facebook were just allowed to like keep going and just become this big monstrously powerful thing, to the point where like even the US military and stuff is controlled by like corporations. Like they're all completely funded from like private sector, and like
I feel like this
pretty
is
much
like...
they just have free reign to do whatever they want, and in turn they just kind of like by the machine that they are like pretty much enslave anybody below them.
Yeah, right. I was saying I feel like this is a Black Mirror episode or something. It feels very Black Mirror.
I think a lot of Black Mirror episodes like bordered on cyberpunk kind of
stuff. So now, is this a first-person shooter or a first-person hacker? Is it all cyber related, or do you have to like kill or be killed?
I mean, it's you shoot and it's in first person, but it's kind of like a first person RPG. So a lot of it's based on just, playing a role and like building your character and, navigating the world, going through missions and discovering the story that you've been thrown into.
Right. So do you hook up with other people who play, like your friend? Is your friend like on your team?
There's no multiplayer right now, but
there's not.
I think it's been announced.
Okay.
They've already announced the first DLC for it. It's coming.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I mean, it's pretty awesome. There are I've encountered some bizarre bugs for sure. I've had to restart a couple missions because stuff got like really weird. But for the most part, like, it's a pretty sizable, it's a chunky game, let me tell you.
Chunky.
So, yeah, there's plenty to do. So, with playing Bethesda games, like I said, who are kind of known to be a game development company that releases some buggy games, at least at launch, I've had my fair share of like, oh, okay, this is not how this game's supposed to be working. Let me just revert to a previous save and see if I can salvage this, or like Google the Wikipedia page for this quest so people can be like, oh yeah, it's bugged. If you go into that room before the guy tells you to, everything breaks. So you got to restart and like, whatever.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's just kind of one of those things.
Is this something that people can buy now, or you only pre-ordered people can get? Like people who pre-ordered it?
It's available to everyone.
Okay.
I will say, well, the sad thing is that I think we might have talked about this, but PS5 actually pulled it from their store because
they got crazy.
It was it was just it had a rough launch. Let's just say that. So people were unhappy. But
it was getting returned too frequently, and they were like, okay, well, we're not going to sell it if you're just going to return it.
Yeah. I've talked about it before, but let me just tell you, man, the voice acting, everything, I'm to the point where I can end it, but I want to get like all the endings available to me, so I'm completing more side missions and stuff before I go to the end part. But having gotten that far, I would say definitely worth your time.
Cool.
The game does not hold back though. It's
it doesn't hold back. It comes at you.
It's pretty intense. It's got warning for squeamish viewers. It's got lots of gore and nudity and everything else. So
so when you log off work, you buckle in your seatbelt and you get real serious.
I strap in and I'm like,
I'm in.
Get ready.
It's like the Matrix when you connect yourself to the world. You're like, I'm not coming out until I'm the one and I save humanity.
It's great.
Okay.
Can't recommend it enough.
I'm glad you're enjoying that.
Yeah.
And life is good over
it's gotten me like really into cyberpunk again. Like I've always been like I said, I've always like leaned towards that kind of stuff. Like one of my favorite shows, I would say The Expanse has a lot of like cyberpunky elements in it. Like one of my favorite movies growing up is The Matrix. I grew up watching like Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex, that kind of stuff. So, and I've read like Neuromancer. I think that I want to revisit some of that, but I also started reading just earlier today, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is the...
Do they?
Well, I don't know. I just started reading it.
We need this update next time.
It's a book from the 60s that actually is like... it's what Blade Runner's based on, so... It's it's an interesting book so far. I mean, I'm only a few pages in, but and the weird thing though, this is creepy. I thought that like the Matrix was reaching out to me for a minute. The book reading? The book is set in January 2021.
Whoa, that is really cool. I mean, that would be really surreal for sure.
In the far and bizarre future of January 2021. Where people can turn a dial to change their emotions to whatever they feel suits them.
Wow, I wish that were possible.
That's it.
Yeah, that is funny though. There are
maybe I should go apply to be a Blade Runner.
Oh,
anyways, go on.
I'm sure that's a real job somewhere. But yeah, there have been shows and movies or like books that have been written, like you said, where they've predicted that certain things would have occurred in years past, like say like 2018, 2019 or whatever. And it's kind of funny to see what their perception of what it would be like. And it's sometimes they're pretty dead on, you know, like there are some things that actually do come to fruition.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of things that are like, what? Like we're so far away from that, but you never know. Maybe we're not. But it's crazy, like how dead on, when they are dead on, how it's like, wow, how did you know? Or I also wonder sometimes, did we develop these things because they were brought up in these movies or these shows or
Definitely.
books?
I mean, I think like being imagined by humans is a important step in technology, right? Like people
Exactly.
seeing that and thinking, oh, we should go that direction, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Something interesting there.
Yeah. Were you gonna say something else? I thought.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, when I first started reading Neuromancer, it was like so surreal because it's set in the 80s, but there's so much in there, like about glass being a TV, like something as thin as a piece of glass being a TV, and like video calling and being able to use personal computers that are on you, and the ability to have all computers connected in a way that you can like access something on the other side of the world from like, you know, your bedroom or whatever.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And it's just like right at the forefront.
Yeah, I know. It is kind of weird. And also I was just thinking, because when we were watching a lot of the Star Trek episodes, they take place then, like in the 60s and stuff, and they also do that. They have, you know, well, sorry, it doesn't take place in the 60s. It's filmed in the 60s. It took place in the future. So and they do have a lot of the things that we have now that obviously in the 60s they didn't have. So it's kind of funny how far things have come and how they like, as a person, like if you had to guess what new invention or what something that you currently use, what it would look like in, I don't know, what, 50 years?
Right.
What would a phone be like? Is it going to be like a chip in your ear?
Yeah, you wouldn't even have the phone really. It'd probably be a wearable by that point. But okay, at some point it's going to be implanted, right? Like all that functionality is going to be something that you just like,
maybe, but not everybody's going to want to do that.
It's in your brain or something.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. There's some flip phoners still, you know?
Yeah.
And
definitely.
So what about people who don't want to do that? I mean,
I think they'll just be so
iPhone?
disadvantaged that at a certain point they'll either have to like live a whole different kind of an existence, like they would essentially be ostracized from society, or they would feel so pressured to do it that they would.
True.
Which is part of like what makes it cyberpunky, right? Because it's like, what if that's like against somebody's will, essentially? Like if somebody is uncomfortable with that idea, but they basically have to accept it to be in society.
True. Yeah, that is scary too.
Because I mean, it's already kind of happening. Like if somebody goes to their job and they're like, hey, you know, I'm here to pick up a shift, and like, yeah, just open the app and then accept the shift. And they're like, oh, I don't have a smartphone. It's like, oh, that's how this company runs. So I guess I'll write it down on a piece of paper. But then like, if you have to call out, the only way you do it is by pushing the button on the app. They're like, can I just have your phone number? It's like, well, okay, now we're creating a whole separate system just for you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's so interesting to see.
And then you're going to be like the first to go if like they have to go out of their way to like accommodate you, right?
Yeah, true. That's true. I guess they often say you either have to evolve or die. So, I mean, that kind of applies here.
Right. But because at the same time, like if, you know, somebody could be uncomfortable, say like driving a car, but it's like, what if, you know, that person doesn't want to like go to work? They would have to get a job that's like right near them, right? They could never like commute to their job if they like didn't want to. If somebody was like stuck in the era where they wanted to still ride in horse and buggy or something, it's like, well, you can't do that. So
right, true.
We changed.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they don't. That's another thing is I think in the future, you know, obviously they're going to have vehicles that will drive themselves or they're automated, so you can have these implants, and I guess there'd be things in your eyes too, so you can watch movies and go through your email. Like, how else would you access that unless it? Like,
yeah, I mean, there would be these legacy systems. Like somebody could say, "Oh, I'm stopping at smartphones, so I'm not getting that." But eventually, the divide's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger until like there's gonna be stuff after email or after movies where it's like VR and stuff that, you know, there's gonna be an evolution beyond it that just won't be compatible at all, and you'll just be like, well, you either catch up or don't experience it.
True. Oh yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah, I wonder, like, I don't know. I was just trying to think of what else would evolve and be, because I would think obviously if things are evolving, and already this is proving that the world is becoming more and more populated because we're living longer and everything else. But if things evolve to be more safe, like cars driving themselves, you won't have to worry about, killing people and getting in accidents and
unfortunately
on the road and stuff. So obviously there's going to be more protection, so more people. But I think that the world is going to evolve to where I think people are going to have less kids, maybe. This is another side topic of.
No, yeah, they've done some interesting studies, like in Japan, for example. Like when things become super densely populated, for some reason, like birth rates usually drop off significantly. Like there's something about like the human psychology that like reads that and decides like, well, no, I don't want a kid.
Yeah, I've read some of that too. It's so interesting, and I mean, obviously not everybody does, but I feel like it's already becoming that here, even in the U.S. Because even though we're not, back to back populated to where we can't function, I feel like the population today is so much higher than it was even when we were kids. So I've seen that a lot of people, well, part of it too is that there's a lot more jobs available, a lot more people like focused on their careers and stuff like that. So
also we live in a city that's growing.
Yeah, well, we do. That's true. But I think overall though, like the US has grown versus, I don't know. Yeah. But and I do find that more and more people are saying, oh yeah, I'm only going to have one kid, or I'm only going to have, I'm not going to have children, or I don't know. I just feel like there's more and more of that than there used to be. There used to be
well, like, I think, a lot of humanity will always want that, and it's important because, there's got to be somebody obviously here after we're gone. So I think that idea of like, I want to continue on my legacy. But there is also the situation of like how much do you want to, I guess? It feels like it's less effectual to, obviously it's harder and harder to raise more and more kids. And then like, so you're going to need more income and everything, and you're going to need more time.
And it's getting more and more expensive to live. So.
And it's going to make less of a difference, like the higher the population of your area, right? In a weird way. I know it's like not a big deal and statistically, but I think like maybe psychologically you can think like, if you live in a neighborhood of like 10 people and then you have 3 kids, like that's a huge percentage of that neighborhood that's now your family.
That's true.
Whereas like now, if you live in an apartment building that has like 100 people in it, it almost feels like it's weirdly less meaningful to have a bunch of kids, right? It just feels like kind of, you just want somebody there to be like, hey, carry on my ideas and legacy and
wayward son.
Transform them into your own way.
I think that's a song.
Yeah, it's by Kansas.
No, it's not.
What?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying like the state, Kansas.
No, it's Kansas's state song.
Is it really? I never knew that.
It's not. It's by the band Kansas.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. Yeah, that's true.
Is it? Now I'm doubting myself.
No, it is. I just looked it up.
Oh, okay.
You're right. I'm not very good at knowing songs. So there was this guy who went around and interviewed people who were wearing band shirts, because a lot of people are doing that now when they're getting these vintage shirts and whatever, and like that's like a style.
Yeah, and then cutting them up a little bit and looking like you've had it for 20 years.
I guess, I don't know, but most people don't know the band even. They just like the shirt, so they wear the shirt. So this guy went around interviewing people saying like, can you name 3 songs from this band? And most people were like, no. But there were, quite a few.
This is a band? Yes. I thought it was like one of those contrived things that looks like a band shirt.
Yeah, it's funny. But I was like saying, well, even if I like a band and I like their songs, if somebody asked me that question, I wouldn't be able to tell them. I don't know the names of the songs. I just like the way they sound.
Yeah.
I'm so bad
I feel
with
you.
that.
There is some, I think I had this weird, this happened to me like one time. Somebody was singing a Third Eye Blind song, and I was like, oh, I love them. And somebody was like, oh, like, what is your favorite song? And I like literally cannot think of a single song. I was like, eventually I was like, oh, Send Me Charm Kind of Life. There we go. And I was like, it's such a basic, like, oh, you picked that song. But it was just like the only song I could think of on the spot. It was like,
you should have just said, oh, sorry. It was a different band. Sorry. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind. Back out. I don't want to connect with you anymore. How dare you ask me that question? How dare you ask me to say the next logical thing in this conversation.
Exactly. Even artists, though, sometimes I'm like, people like, so I say, oh, I love Christmas music, for example. This is an example. And they'll say, oh, who's your favorite Christmas singer or favorite artist that sings whatever? I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know.
Who sings the Nutcracker?
Mariah Carey? Because it's the only thing.
Right.
But obviously I like so many more traditional, like regular, I don't know. And it's like, I don't know. Like, who sings that? I don't know. And then Mike is such a big, my boyfriend Mike, he's like super into music. Like, music is not his life, but it's like a big interest. And so he's almost like, it's kind of like disrespectful to not know. If you like a song and you listen to the song, and like you should know who they are and what the song is. Like, it's part, I don't know. He takes it very serious. And he even knows where they're from and who every member of the band is, where a lot of people only know the lead singer. And I'm like, oh gosh, I don't know. I don't get that involved.
Yeah, there's a few bands that like, right, like for one, I've always been into Muse to the point where, I don't know, I'd been like a huge fan of theirs for years and years. And I felt like somebody showed me a poster of them one time and I was like, that's Muse? Like, I've never seen them. And like now I know what they look like and stuff. But it was just like, it was one of those things that was like, the first time I saw them had been so, like, I'd been a fan of them for so long, but I was like, I don't know, I've just never like Googled and looked at the actual people.
That's
like,
so true. I've done that, where not that I've necessarily loved a band or anything, but I hear the same songs, over and over again on the radio or on, if I do like a search on Spotify or something or Pandora even, they play like a track of similar songs to the ones you like or whatever. So I'll hear the songs over and over again and I'll know the artist maybe if I heard their name, but then I'll see a music video of theirs on YouTube and I do not connect them because I think, that's not the same person that sings that song. Like, that can't be that person because it's not at all what I would think that person would look like or be like.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? That's that person or that artist or whatever?
I heard someone once refer to it as a spoiler. Like, it's almost like it puts a weird thing in your head because now you think of them singing and you're like, no, it's not right. Like, something about it doesn't fit.
Yeah. So that's
and it's like, it's almost like you wish you hadn't have experienced like seeing them.
Yeah. That is true. Actually, that makes a good point because, like I said, Mike's into like music and stuff. And so he used to go around and go to concerts and whatever, and he would meet band members. But one of his all-time favorite bands was 311. And he had the chance to meet them and he didn't do it because he was like,
never meet your idols.
Yeah. He's like, I don't want to. But now, of course, he followed. That was back before not internet, but like Twitter and all that. So now, of course, he follows them on Twitter and he's gotten to know them like far better than he ever wanted to because like social media, you like learn everything about people. But yeah, it was just one of those moments where he was like, oh, I can't meet them because it might change everything for me. And so, yeah, that makes sense. I know that this happened with me in like certain podcasts that I listen to. So I wonder if they ever saw us, if they would think, oh, I never thought that they would look like that. Or, like, they probably have this, because you sort of form your, like, a visual, or you kind of connect it in your own way that's relevant to you on what this person, So
that's why I think your animations that you've done, like, are good. They're like a good intro. It's like, this is about what we look like. You don't need to go any deeper than that. You can, it's the frame, and then you can paint in what you want.
Yeah, you don't need to see all the wrinkles and the intricate details of our pores. But yeah, that's true.
And then if you ever do see us, you won't be like shocked and floored.
Yeah. At least you do know that I'm the boy and he's a girl, or she's wait, what? That I'm.
Uh-oh.
What?
You slipped up. Mixing up my pronouns, Lisa. It's unacceptable.
I'm sorry. You're who you are, and I'm who I am. You guys know that.
Hey, amen.
True. But yeah, like another example of that is books and how people take books and make them into movies, and a lot of people say, "Oh, the book was better." Right. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I do know that any book that I've read and then saw the movie, it's like, because you already have this whole like world developed in your mind while reading the book that doesn't match with that other, obviously the director or the producer.
It's also totally dependent on like how descriptive like the author was. Like sometimes they're pretty vague. Like you don't realize how much of the person you have in your head is totally like painted in by your own imagination until you see like the movie, and then you're like, what? That's not what he looks like at all. I guess they never really said what he looked like.
That's true.
Where did I get this image in my head?
Yeah. I know. And what was I gonna say? But then the thing is, I was thinking like maybe they've had all these consultations with the author, and that is actually how it's supposed to be.
Right.
But
it could be like, if I were to have described it, it would have been this way. It's like, but that's not how I read it. So.
Exactly. So yeah. Anyways, I find that interesting. I'm trying to think if there's a movie that I watched after reading the book and I thought the movie was better. And I feel like there is a couple, but they're eluding me at the moment.
I'll say a few that have nailed it is like The Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter.
Oh, Harry Potter for sure.
They nailed the characters. Like, I think it was because they had good descriptions as well, but it was just like one of those things where it's like exactly what I imagined is what was on screen.
That's true. Yeah, definitely Harry Potter. I don't know about the other one. I didn't see it.
You haven't seen Lord of the Rings?
No, I mean, sorry, I didn't read the books.
I
just saw the movies.
Yeah, I didn't read like Fellowship of the Ring first, but I did I read The Hobbit like a long time ago, and I knew like of the characters. I knew like Gandalf and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I think those were just pretty excellent casting. So.
Yeah, I took
on also
the
wardrobe, but
right. I took on the task of reading it, and I know that I've read some of it, but I don't think I've ever finished an entire book of it. I don't know.
They're wordy. They're very explanatory to a fault.
Yeah. Some books are like that. I'm trying to find a new book to read. I've had a lot of suggestions, but I'm still feeling things out, because books are one of those things that you really have to be in the mood for, because you're in it for the long haul. Like, you're in it to read it till the end of the book. I don't know. So yeah, I just finished The Magpie Society, which was pretty good, but it's kind of like a young adult. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I read a lot of young adult books, but it was, had a lot of cheese to it, if that makes sense. Gotcha. Yeah. Looking for something a little bit more dark and disturbing. But it was good. It was really good. I mean, they're coming. It's like a whole series. So this is just the first book in the series. So I'm still going to read the whole series. It's worth it. I mean, it's good enough that, I'm committed, but, I don't know. I'm still trying to look, but, I was going to ask you if you've heard of this game before we get into books or whatever. Not that we are, but, I recently saw a game called Shady Part of Me. Have you seen that?
Shady Part of Me? No.
Yeah. I mean, well, actually, there's two games I want to ask you about, because that's one of them. Okay, so Shady Part of Me is, it's basically a girl who has to go through this world. I don't know if it's a world or a universe or whatever. And it's a puzzle game, so she has to go through and work her way through this universe. But, she has to go through these puzzles, but she also has to do it with her shadow. So it's basically two games in one, because you have to play her and then you also have to play the shadow part, but you have to play them simultaneously, and they work together to get through the universe. And
is this like Contrast meets, what was that game? Like Little Nightmares or something?
Little Nightmare?
I don't know. Anyways, go on.
I don't know. Well, anyways, so, I mean, I only saw someone on Twitch playing it, so I'm not like, I don't know that much about it, but it seemed pretty interesting. It's very dark. It's all like dark themed. And there's like poetry in it. So, and I don't know if the poetry is part of the puzzles, but as you're going along, there's like poetry that comes up on the wall, and then, maybe you read it, maybe you don't. I don't know, because I wasn't playing it. I was just watching it. But it seemed kind of depressing, to be honest. But it also seemed... Yeah, like the puzzle part seemed
There's like
cool.
some somber overtones to it. It kind of reminds me of Limbo in that respect, and Little Nightmares.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what Little Nightmares is, but sounds...
Yeah, I Googled them to see if they were like related, because they seem so similar. But yeah, it looks like they're unrelated. They're just very similar. But other people did take note that they seemed to have very similar vibes.
That's funny that you thought of that.
And the other game I mentioned, Contrast, is a game similar to that mechanic that you can switch into like shadow mode, where you become like a shadow.
Oh.
Anyways.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Well, so this other game, and I'm you might know when I'm explaining it, but I don't remember the name of it. But it's about a guy that has to I don't know if he has to take down or conquer these giants. And
Shadow of the Colossus?
yeah, I knew it had Shadow in the name. I just wasn't sure because there was another Shadow game. I don't know, came up. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that was a really old game, and then they like remastered it recently.
Oh, really? I just felt really bad for the giants. I'm just gonna say that.
I've never played it, but I was watching a playthrough of somebody else play it, and it was actually like a group of people, and they kept remarking on like, oh my god, what was he doing? He was just walking around in the field, and oh god, you're messing him up.
I know. I was like, what the heck is this game? It's like they're just attacking these poor innocent giants, just minding their own business.
Poor innocent giants.
Apparently, there's some underarching storyline. Right. Where I think it's a love story, someone said to me. Oh, and the guy has to do these things to get his woman back. I don't know. Something like that. Right. But the reason that it stood out to me was because, and I didn't know it was an older game, but like the graphics and stuff looked really good. And because it had the word shadow in it, and I was, I guess, into shadows that day. I don't know.
Yeah, you're like, hey, shadows. These are cool games.
Yeah. And then another game that kind of has been really cool to watch people play is the Mario Kart Live game. Have you seen people play that?
No.
It's
is that what's hot on Twitch right now?
Well, it's been a while. I don't know if it's still hot, but it was for a while. And it's basically Mario Kart. I mean, most people know what that is. But It's live, so it's in your house. And it's like an augmented reality. Like...
Are you running around your kitchen sink or something?
No, you're playing at your computer, but you set up a obstacle or like a racetrack for the Mario Kart characters, and the cart goes along the track in your house. So the gameplay is Mario and all the drivers or whatever, and they're like going around your couch and going around in your kitchen, and like. It's like...
Are you controlling them and stuff?
Yeah, you're controlling your Mario, I guess, or whoever your character is. Yeah.
So it's like when you play like the racetracks on... Like the kids' toy racetracks that you get like for Christmas, and you'd like set them up to like go around your coffee table or something, and then the controls are all like weird because you have to imagine you're in like the same orientation as the car, right?
Yeah, but they mess up sometimes. So like if you... go off track or whatever, it will like move stuff. I mean, there are certain things you have to set up. So I think there's like like the finish line, and there's cones you put out, and I think that kind of marks where the tracks is, but it's not the whole track. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just kind of cool to watch Mario driving around in people's homes, and it gets kind of funny because it's kind of chaotic. I don't know. But I guess maybe you have to have a Nintendo Switch for that. I don't know if it's a computer game or...
Sounds dope.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Do you have to, I guess, like hold it up in front of you and then just kind of like AR on your phone sort of situation? It just kind of like plots it onto the ground?
Well, you don't even have to be in the same room. So...
Well, then what's the point? What are you seeing?
Well, you're seeing the course that has been designed by you. Laid out in your house, I guess, or in your room or whatever. And then you play the course, but the course is your house, basically. It's not like a cartoon course. It's a real course. It's live.
But what are you actually seeing if you're not in the room?
You're seeing the room. You're seeing him race around.
So it's like if I set it up in my living room, right? Then I go on my back porch and kick my feet up and then start racing.
Yeah.
What do I see? Do I see like a top-down picture of my living room?
Oh, you see from the perspective of the driver of your Mario Kart.
Weird. How does it... So you gotta like model your whole house then. You have to like... How does it get the perspectives and everything? Like how does it get the perspective from being like on the ground looking up?
I have no idea. I just assume that there is an actual car. So it's like a go-kart, I guess. Or not a go-kart, but what do you call those cars? Like an electronic car that you move around.
Like an RC car. Oh, wait. So there's an actual car that's driving around?
And I think there must be a camera on it. or something.
Oh, that's awesome.
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, that's That's dope.
That's
oh my
what I'm
God.
saying. It was really interesting. It was really kind of fun to watch people play.
Okay, I'm glad that you figured out how to explain it to me at the exact moment that I finished my Google search.
You're welcome.
I got it by what you said, but now I'm seeing it.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah.
Look at this. That is so cool.
Okay, thank you. I feel validated now.
What a great idea.
I mean, I thought it was pretty neat.
Nintendo, you got it all figured out, you guys.
I know.
Oh man, I'm looking at this. I want this. Oh man, they get to sell so many more toys using this.
That's true.
How hasn't anybody thought of this before?
I don't know. I'm hoping they come out with more. Maybe not Nintendo, but like other games like that. But I mean, what else can they do with it? I mean, what other augmented games could you really play other than racing? Or maybe like a marble game or something like that. I don't know. But it's a good invention.
For real.
Yeah.
What do you do what does it react if you like, because it shows it as like multiplayer. Like you can have multiple real RC cars zipping around.
Yeah.
What happens if you like blue shell someone? They just like, do you lose control and it just starts spinning or something? Like it just spins out the car?
It does, yeah. You like they can throw things and like, you know, like they do in regular Mario Kart. They can throw the the turtle shells and the gunk, and they throw stuff at the other cars and spin them out and stuff. Somehow it knows.
This
I don't
is
know
awesome.
how.
This
I don't
is
know
getting
how
close.
It knows, but it knows.
This is getting close to augmented sport. I'd watch this. They should do this full size with F1 cars. Let's go.
Yeah, right.
There's an imaginary banana peel on the track,
Oh
and the
my
car
gosh.
just like spins out. when it hits it.
Amazing. Yeah, they should definitely do that.
But it's all unmanned.
That would be so
cars.
much destruction, mayhem.
Excellent.
I don't know how controlled that would be, but anyways,
Oh my God.
those are the game things that
That'd
have
be so cool.
stuck out to me lately. Anyways, now you're
You know what? You got me thinking.
Yeah.
Why don't they have a version of F1 where the cars are all remote? Like I know why.
Are.
Like I know, huh?
They basically are remote. I mean,
There are some controls. Like there is a command center that's got some control. But I'm saying like I understand why like for the peak sport aspect why there has to be a driver in there, because there's like a millisecond like reaction times at certain instances, and the skill of the driver is like can't have a moment of latency, all that. But I'm saying like for the effect of like we could do like rocket cars. We could do something that's like so unsafe that we could never put a human being in it. No one's considered it because they're like, well, I mean, nobody can drive this. There's no way they could get through a whole game without at least one person spinning out and blowing up, right?
yeah, right.
So, but if they're all remote, you could have the craziest sport flying around a jet engine or something. And then,
Think of how
if it detonates,
expensive that would be, though.
Here's the thing. They spend a lot of money on those F1 cars.
They do, I know.
And
they get really
the
mad
main reason everybody comes to those F1 races is with the hopes that one day one of them is going to like spin out and there's going to be a massive wreck and it's going to be amazing.
I mean, I don't know.
And no one's going to get hurt, obviously. But
I hope not. No, yeah.
that it'll be a beautiful sight of carnage. So how cool would it be if we just strap some rocket boosts to these things and if we dialed the technology in just right, the danger of it with the thrust of the rockets and everything, so that, the margins of loss would be acceptable.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, they could salvage all the parts and put them back together again, I guess. Kind of like, it could be like how Elon Musk does the rocket launches, how everything comes back and they catch it with the...
It's kind of like how, so cars are designed to like accordion to like protect the driver. Like the car can like totally like crumple and become like a crushed little ball, but then the cabin space where the actual people are will be like
safe.
Fine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think they could design these, because there are no people inside, to like break apart in like glorious, amazing ways, but in ways that kept all of the vital components in one piece.
Okay, I can see your video game and Mythbusters life merging and becoming one. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a show out there that's like video game Mythbusters called Immersion. And I suggest
really?
you go watch it. It's good.
Okay, maybe you can pitch that to them.
They actually aren't. That show's over now.
Oh,
but
okay.
I'll pitch it to them. They did do like a revival season, so might pitch it to them.
It could work.
They did have a season where they had Mario Kart in real life, and they tried to see if banana peels would actually spin somebody out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't work.
It's a fun episode. Huh?
Did it work?
Well, here's the thing. They do it like Mythbusters. So if they'll make it work. They just
Right,
they show
they just
how
get
far
bigger and
you
bigger.
have to push the envelope before it works.
Right. Okay. So here's my question with this whole concept that you have. Are people watching live or are they watching from a TV? Because if that thing goes off,
Yeah, here's the thing.
this could cause some...
There's got to be safety precautions.
Residual
This
damage.
might not be safe to view in person, but
Okay, then what's the point?
you might be able to. If you put up like some like bulletproof glass, if you put some, you could do some like really intense stands. Like basically you're watching from a bunker, but honestly, who goes to sports anymore though?
True.
Let's be real. We can have the entire sport. Like here's the thing. We'll have 360 cameras everywhere, so people can view the sport in VR or from their phone if they want just to hold it up and like look around. You can view the whole thing like you're there.
True.
But oh my gosh, this sport's great. But if you purchase like quote unquote a ticket, because a lot of these sporting events, that's how they make their money. You can quote unquote sell tickets, and what that can do is give you your own personal 3D camera that has a designated amount of space it can fly around in, and you can actually fly around the field and
No
follow
way.
the cars
Okay.
as they and it'll be like a drone 3D camera.
In 2070.
This technology is here now. There's
that'll
drones.
happen.
There is 360 cameras.
Okay.
We can do this.
So I see. So you're piloting a drone. You're not actually in this flying thing.
No, you're in a it's just a quadcopter with a 360 camera on it,
Uh-huh.
and you're just flying around the action. You're right there in the action. You can even have it sort of like edit out the other drones, so it feels like you're the only one there, like zipping around.
Interesting. Okay. Let's pitch that to who does sports?
Who does sports? And this is COVID resistant too.
It totally is.
There's no people. It's all you can have this automated, except
That's
for the
true. Oh, you know what?
rebuilding thing.
We should
might
pitch
be a little
this
difficult.
to Elon Musk. I bet he can do it.
I bet he would love it, but he's all about like the furthering of humanity. This is more like absurd fun.
Entertainment. It's you gotta have those entertainment releases in order to be productive.
Forget Elon Musk. We need to be the Elon Musk of entertainment.
Oh, okay.
That's the name of this podcast.
the Elon Musk of
That's the name of this
entertainment.
episode.
That would be perfect. We could be. I mean, why are we limiting ourselves?
We don't have the wallet, but otherwise we could be.
Hey, you don't need the wallet. That's how you get the people with the wallet on board, and then
I see.
It's a team.
Yeah, I guess he
but we're the
made all
leaders.
his money in like eBay or whatever. So we need our eBay. What's our eBay?
Oh,
No
yeah.
Kidding Podcast is our eBay.
That's right. Go to our
We're drawing
eBay.
people in.
Start buying stuff for us.
Yeah, but
So-
start buying stocks.
We really
So
need
buy-
to earn the money to develop a rocket race that we can view via drone. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that could be so cool. Like really awesome, like complex machines that just like if they hit each other, because they're going like 300 miles per hour, they hit each other, it's just disintegration. Could be so cool.
okay.
I'd watch that sport.
Sounds like a very
It would be the
dude
perfect mix between like esports and real sports.
I guess. Sure.
The problem would be the first season would be rough because you have to dial it in to where it's got to be exciting enough that people tune in, but it can't be so exciting that everything gets destroyed.
I know. And what are these? Because you know how at least the F1 cars, they have little personalities to them. So are these?
Oh yeah, there could be teams and like they could build it could be almost like Robot Wars, but like
Okay.
a little more like high end, big robots.
Big robots.
It's big Robot Wars.
Okay, but also with F1, there are some regulations like, all the
Yeah, get rid of
cars
those.
kind of have to have similar stats.
Or else it would be like weight class. I would say like if you build like something that's 1,000 times better than anything else out there, cool. But you're gonna be in a weight class by yourself, so
Yeah,
you can't.
that's no fun.
There's nobody to race against. But if two teams like go, hey, let's do this. Let's make like two of the best ones ever, and then I don't know if somebody wants to tune in to like the 600 mile per hour race that's on a 10 between two people, and then you're like, all right, well. Who knows? This could be the day one of them clip each other and they both explode in a fiery ball. Let's watch.
Who knows? This could be it. This sounds like what was that movie with? Oh gosh, I'm never gonna.
Time Cop.
Time Cop, is that it?
I don't know.
Oh, it's something
You've
like
given
that.
me zero information.
Oh, it's something like that where like these people, I want to say it's like, who's the actor in that movie?
Sylvester Stallone.
No.
That was another time movie.
I want to say it's someone like that. They're like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something. And they get captured and they get put into this, and it's like where they have to fight for entertainment. And yeah, it's like that where they have to like figure out how to get out without dying, and they all have to kill each other. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
Hunger Games.
It's like not exactly like Hunger Games, but it obviously was way before Hunger Games. I don't know. It was like back in the 80s. There's a movie about it. Seems very, very similar.
Judge Dredd.
Are you researching?
I did look back because I want to know what that Sylvester Stallone movie I was thinking of was. It's not Judge Dredd. It's not Escape Plan 2. It's the one where Taco Bell is a fancy restaurant. You know the one I'm talking about?
No, but that sounds awesome.
It's like Sylvester Stallone Taco Bell movie. It's called Demolition Man. Oh, that does not fit the premise of that movie. Yeah, he gets like cryogenically frozen and like wakes up way in the future, and he's like a down home cop from the past, and he's now in the future. It's kind of cyberpunky, honestly.
Oh yeah.
But one of the things is like all the other restaurants like collapsed in Depression, and the only restaurant that survived because they basically sold tacos that were worth nothing to people for like $5 was Taco Bell. And so because they were the only one that survived, they became like the biggest restaurant in the world, and they got to the point where they're like super fancy and people get like really dressed up to go to Taco Bell.
Oh really?
And it's like this really like top shelf, top tier experience.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was product placement, but it was awesome.
Okay.
I loved it. It was such a good like weird quirk about the future that I could totally believe.
Wasn't there something like that in Back
Taco
to the
Bell could take
Future
over.
where
it had some Back to the Future vibes. I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I feel like there was like,
what was in the future? They had the lace ups, they had the hoverboards.
True. But there was
I
like I thought there was like a restaurant or something that was, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it. Future.
Oh, Wesley Snipes is in that movie too. Good
So the
stuff.
movie, what movie are you what are you talking about?
I'm talking about Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes.
Oh, right, yeah. The movie I was talking about was The Running Man, and it does have Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Sandra Bullock was in that too.
She's been in a lot of stuff.
You were thinking of The Running Man.
Yeah, The Running Man.
Oh, it is Schwarzenegger. Look at you.
I was right, but that was a total guess because it was just a kind of movie he would have done.
How fun.
Yeah.
Futuristic stuff.
Oh yeah.
Listen, sci-fi is where it's at.
It is. I do like a good sci-fi film.
This is how we decide to build what's next. See, because I've been playing Cyberpunk, I was able to come up with the future sport.
There
Perfect future sport.
See, this is games, and they say that it's good for nothing, but it's really not. It builds our future. So
that could be your pitch to Elon Musk.
Yeah.
To help build this.
Games, it builds our futures. Anyway.
Like, stop with all those rockets that will take us off of this dying world. We need to play rocket ball, rocket car.
Rocket car.
I never suggested there was a ball in play. This is still a race game.
You've got a name for it already. Rocket car. That's the name of the game.
Rocket race. Oh no, wait, that's a Halo 3 game type. I love that.
Rocket race?
Yeah, let's do rocket race.
Oh, okay.
That's a different thing though. They have to shoot rockets at each other if we want to do that.
Yikes.
Yeah, that would be far too expensive.
Yeah, and a little destructive. I mean, we want this to be more than a 5-minute game, right? I mean, this is like
exactly.
Okay.
There has to be a little bit of teasing going on.
Yeah.
We can't be totally destructive.
You can't just go in shooting and people.
There has to be like a good chance of one destruction a race, not like everything blows up by the end.
So is this similar to the monster trucks?
Yeah, a little. Yeah, monster trucks are kind of on that forefront. They have the destruction. That's exactly the kind of business model I'm looking for. Monster truck rallies.
The
kind of
business of monster
The kind of business model I want is acceptable losses.
Okay. Right. Well, okay. I mean, everything has to evolve, so why not monster trucks?
Why not monster trucks? That's a metaphor for life. Why not monster trucks?
That's
Think about it.
Gonna be on our shirts.
Well, you got anything else for us this week?
No, I don't. I didn't have anything for this week at all, but here we are.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I launched into CyberPunk. I'm just so excited about it. And then the future gave birth to this wonderful idea.
Look for it
I stole
in
the limelight.
2022.
Next week will be a monologue of just you.
Get ready, folks.
Sound fair?
No, it doesn't. I don't have that kind of energy. You're in this.
Excellent.
You're in this for life. Sorry, you're in it. You can't escape.
Did what I could, people.
All right. Hope you enjoyed our new inventions and chats about nothing. Tune in next week. Who knows what you'll find out.
Who knows? We might have had the first ever race of rocket car.
That's true. It might have evolved by then, because we
something
upload so
more
frequently.
Financially doable.
Who knows? If you have any ideas, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit us up on Twitter, Instagram,
Facebook.
No Kidding Pod.
All the things. Yeah, I need to get on that Instagram again, posting. I kind of took a break for a while, but we're back. So get on there, do some polls. We do lots of polls and it's fun, and you can put your opinions in, and who knows, we might even take one of your ranting raves and talk about it on here.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we need your content. Come on, people.
we
Feed
need
it to
you to
us
do
for
our
free.
job. Yeah. Come on, guys. Help us out.
And remember, the more you listen, the more chances there'll be more ad breaks in here. So
there's your
incentive. A lot of things to look forward to.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking by us.
Thanks for sticking by us. Toodaloo.
Bye. Okay.
Rocket car.
Rocket Man. That's a song, right? Rocket Man. Ah!
I mean, I would want to drive at least one rocket car.